we have come a long way, and it's just a great number. I mean, it's hard to do, and guys have battled, and we've been through a lot of crap, and going to continue to get through all the rest of the season, and got a tough road ahead, but we're all ready to go and excited for it.
The Broncos win 24-17. The Avalanche win 3-2 twice. The Nuggets win over Charlotte, and a breathtaking win over Indiana over the weekend. The Avs, Nuggets, and Broncos played on Sunday for the 11th time on a day that they all played on the same day. It's the first time they have all won on the same day. Welcome to DMac SMaK. We're brought to you by our great friends at Journey Spice. You can use the code GETSPICY and save yourself 10% at Amazon.com. That's Amazon.com. Get Spicy. It's organic. It's great packaging. Flavor in, plastic out. It goes incredible on any sort of meal with a wide variety of spices. We love you, Journey Spice. More on Journey Spice in just a little bit, but do yourself a favor and get yourself some Journey Spice for the holidays. It makes an incredible gift as well. Sean Payton talked about how amazing this win was in kind of a non-remarkable way. They're playing remarkably.
Both backs ran hard. Thought the guys up front played well. Thought we blocked the perimeter well. And then, the play actions and some of the spread out formations, were efficient. So it was a good win.
Great win. However, it wasn't by 20 points. That's why I lost my coffee bet to Adam Schefter, and I was going to pay him in $21 gift cards to Starbucks, but my wife yelled at me for being so stupid. I tried to transfer $200 worth of Starbucks to him, and my bank thought it was fraud, because who in the world would transfer that amount of Starbucks money to anybody? That being said, it's 10 in a row for the Broncos. It's remarkable. Incredible. Bo Nix on winning 10 in a row.
It's amazing. 10's a long streak, and we've won 11 games. That's really tough to do at this point of the season, and 11-2 is not many things that you want to be negative about, because you want to be appreciative of this opportunity and be appreciative of the wins no matter how they come. But at the same time, we're always looking to get better. We know that we're not just going to continue to win games because we've won them in the past. We got to continue to get better, and it's just a streak like that. It's hard to do, I say it all the time. Even though we're now better than we were last year, we didn't want to stop at 11.
It's incredible what they're at, and now you have the real season in front of you. In terms of this game, though, there had to be a different approach, and it was killing Sean Payton how they played the Raiders last time.
Closely at the run game plan, marrying it with the boots and nakeds, and then having some at the line stuff where we hurried it up. So it was a combination of those things. It was the antithesis of the last plan. And sometimes it's hard. You watch it, and our job's always to put our guys in the best position, and I don't know that we did a good enough. We didn't the last time around. Now, we had a lot of penalties. We made a lot of, mistakes, and so we kind of went a different route this time around.
Yeah, they sure did. 3 drives of 8 minutes or more. 2 of those drives, touchdowns, and the last one a field goal. It was 24-7. This was as big of a blowout as you can get. The Broncos had the ball for 39 minutes. 39. 18 more minutes than the Raiders. It's a blowout. So a 1-score game, well, we'll get to those shenanigans in a second. But in terms of the strategy, it wasn't just run the ball. It was just a more balanced attack, because the Raiders, what they don't allow you to do is deep strikes. So fine. And that's where the Broncos screwed up last time. We'll take what they give. They didn't do that the last time around, and they almost paid for it. But this time, Sean realized, well, a low-scoring game where we drain the clock should be just fine. With our defense and their pathetic offense, we'll be okay. And they were. The fact it ended up a one-score game, well, again, we'll get to shenanigans. Sean Payton told the Muggles, you know what I'm feeling.
Well, it wasn't self-scout. You just put the film on. It's like, you ever had one of those articles? All right. But that's how the game plan felt. So, but that's the challenge with his defense, and he does a good job. We handled the pressure. We handled some of the movement stuff. It's good to have a drive to start the game, score a touchdown. We felt a lot more because, look, when Pete comes on board, some of the defense changes, and so certainly playing him, we felt a lot more, I don't want to say prepared, but a lot more in touch with what to expect, when to expect it, and
what he's saying is we knew what they were going to do. They did it, and we had an answer for it. Now, this is significant because it's the first time the Broncos had allowed a first drive touchdown all season. So then they allowed a touchdown. So it's the first time they had a drive for a touchdown, and it was the first time they allowed a touchdown. So you more or less just started the game over. Okay. Whatever. I honestly thought when the Broncos scored a touchdown on their opening drive, that was going to be enough. It was disappointing that the Raiders even answered that, but when Marvin Mims took back the punt return, you kind of knew it was done. And it kind of was. Again, we'll get to the shenanigans a little bit later. It was a great game for RJ Harvey. 75 rushing yards, 25 receiving yards. And if you can get a balanced game like that, that's all you need from RJ Harvey. Now, will you get this forever, every game? Probably not. On the Mile High postgame show on Altitude TV, we were asked, what's the ceiling for RJ Harvey? What you saw yesterday, which is a great ceiling. 75 rushing yards with a touchdown and some really tough runs, plus 25 receiving yards. That's fantastic. It's Christian McCaffrey light. RJ Harvey, good game.
He had a really good game today because there's some contact in line with he and the linebackers. And the one thing about him is you know exactly what you're getting. You're never fooled. And his run fits, his blocking fits, all those things for a fullback. He played, I'm sure when we look at the film, he played well, and he'll be sore tomorrow.
Well, that's good. Bo Nix loved RJ's game.
He just very multiple. He can do so many different things and do them well. So I thought he ran the ball very hard today. It was hard to tackle. He had a few plays to where he stayed on his feet after contact. And then he always does a good job, out of the backfield. I'll always say that's one of his greatest traits. But he's really starting to get it. He just understands things. He's really not, having a whole lot of mental errors. He's just playing and, just doing his job and doing it at a high level.
RJ Harvey outplayed Ashton Genty. How about that? For all the hullabaloo, almost, about Ashton Genty, 10 carries for 30 yards, 3 yards per carry with a long of 6. Wow. Receiving yards, Genty, 2 for 8 yards. Now, Vegas is terrible, but in a game where Ashton Genty was a top 10 pick and gaga goo over Ashton Genty, RJ Harvey with 100 combined rushing and receiving yards won the day. Remarkable. Fantastic. Again, this game was a blowout. It just didn't look like that at the end of the day. Here is RJ Harvey with Scotty Gaines from 9 News.
I work hard every day. We put in the work, watch a lot of film, eventually it's going to pay off, the amount of touches that I'm getting, it's just going to, every game is just going to continue to get better and better for me. So
There's emotion in your voice. Where does that come from for you?
what'd you say?
There's emotion in your voice talking about the hard work you put in. Where does that come from?
Yeah, just, ever since I was small, I wanted to make it to the NFL, and, I worked a lot of hard work, put in blood, sweat, and tears. So, like I said, every week it's just going to continue to get better. My confidence is growing, and it's going to be great things coming soon.
Do you feel
Sean Payton really had a great game plan this time around, and how bad his game plan last time and the Broncos still won is probably pretty remarkable. He took it seriously. And for the first time, despite this being a one-score game, this was not a stressful affair. Why Pete Carroll is even running plays down 10 points with no time left is, got me. Brandon Jones needs to be better than drawing a penalty with 4 seconds to go and the team not having any timeouts. That wasn't smart. And penalties still tend to be an issue for the Broncos if we're nitpicking on small things. And Sean wasn't able just to run the clock out to just get what should have been at least a 10-point win. So, there's a bunch of little stuff out there. 8 penalties for 50 yards. Okay. But 7 of 12 on third down, 1 for 3 on fourth down. And again, a couple of those are just like, whatever. The Raiders, while no turnovers, had 2 turnovers on downs as they were 1 for 3 on fourth down. And their misses on fourth down were much more consequential. Total yards, 356 to 229. This was not a stressful game. It wasn't. In fact, Mark Mosier on Mosier, Lombardi, and Kane described watching the game as boring. Wasn't for me because I had a ridiculous amount of coffee to pay Adam Schefter. But I sort of see where he's coming from. Even Sean admitted this was a game where it was okay to take his headset off.
When you're not like in the 2-minute trying to come back and win, it felt a little nicer. It was a dumb penalty by us with the delay. We're going to run the clock out, and that wasn't real smart. So I'm sure I'll watch the tape. There'll be things that will be frustrated watching. I think I say this, there's been a lot of winning, but there's still a lot of things that when you watch the tape that you really need to clean up. And then the mistakes sometimes that can get overlooked. And then there are times when you lose a game, there's some things you do really well. And so I think, we'll go back to work again. We're on a normal week schedule. Yeah, but it did not feel like maybe some of these other ones recently, to answer your question. My headset was off earlier. All right, thank you.
It was a game that was filled with relief, not tension. But I'm not saying it was necessarily easy. The Broncos just handled things in a better way. It wasn't very competitive, nor did I think it would be, and it wasn't. The Raiders are a bad team. We'll get to Pete Carroll and what he thinks about his fans in a second. Bo Nix on how easy or hard it is winning 10 in a row.
Winning 10 football games is not easy. So I think I'm referring to that. Probably the limited times it's been done. So it's not easy doing what we do. It's not easy going to work each and every week. It's not easy pulling out, these tough wins. But we're resilient. We continue to do it. And, if that's what it takes, we're going to continue to go through it and find ways to stack wins. Thank you.
Marvin Mims didn't have a lot of receiving yards, and maybe that's a bit of an issue. 1 catch for 5 yards, but what a game changer. And the possibilities he has in the kick return game make him a superstar. They really do. He's already a Pro Bowler in that, and the way that can impact and change the game. What's amazing is this was his first punt return for a touchdown, which is just awesome.
When you score in special teams or you score on defense, you're over 80% winner. It was amazing because from my angle, which was pretty right there, to see Mims come out of that, kind of that pile. That was a big play.
Awesome. Marvin Mims with Scotty Gage.
Score a touchdown. Is that practice that?
Not at all. I mean, I got lit up pretty well in that first kickoff return. So I was thinking, like, all these guys right here, protect myself, and next thing you know, I'm out of there. So it was a weird feeling, but it was nice whenever I got out of there.
You know what was fun for me to see was when you score a touchdown, you go up to the Bronco fans that were noticeable here in their orange, and you give the Mile High salute. Was that planned or just an in-the-moment kind of thing?
It's been planned. Like, it's been talked about in the receiver room. Sometimes they call me, like, Mile High Marv. So
I came up with that nickname.
I always saved it for a kick return. So I finally got another one and ended up doing it. So
how great did it feel to do that for you?
Oh, it felt great. First career punt return. So it was nice. It was real nice.
As you're running down the side.
All right, right on. Mile High Marv with the Mile High salute. We'll take it. Meanwhile, if you're the Raiders, you've already fired Tom McMahon, he of the failed special teams coordinator of the Broncos. You fired Chip Kelly, he of the $6 million salary to get yourself 2 wins. You are a disaster. And if you looked at the crowd, as expected, it was predominantly orange, to steal a phrase. Pete Carroll, who is classic and hapless all at the same time, you want to talk about pathetic. Talk about just having the crowd like you.
I wish I would have started it earlier because this connection between us and our fans is crucial to us being successful. And if you think about what we had in Seattle and what we had in the Coliseum, we had huge crowds in our favor. And I understand that, everybody wants to come to Vegas and all that. And so that it's a hot ticket for people to come. And so I'm sure that those that own tickets, are challenged by how they do it. But if we're going to do this, we have to do it together. And we're going to need the fans to support us. I know we got to get them something to cheer about and all that and be fired up because they, part of this whole experience is about the joy that you get from following your team and supporting them and all. So it's going to.
I don't know if it gets much more pathetic than that. So for anybody out there who hates the Raiders, this might be a new low for them. This seriously may be as bad as they've ever been. They're paying like 5 different coaches and a bunch of ex-coordinators. They've got no quarterback. Geno Smith got hurt. Kenny Pickett went in. He looked better than Geno Smith. They will compete for the first overall pick because Kevin Stefanski is an idiot. We'll get to him later. But yeah, maybe. And Fernando Mendoza, he of the awkward post-game interviews in the #1 Indiana Hoosiers. I don't know where else he would be except for the Raiders. I don't know if the Titans will bottom out and win that first pick of the draft or the Raiders will just plow right through it. Who knows? But they are the worst team in the NFL, and the Broncos did what you do to that team. You just patiently push them under. And that's what they did. It wasn't fancy, and it probably wasn't all that exciting. They take away the deep ball, but okay, whatever. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the short pass. They couldn't stop the Broncos. Not really. So the Broncos get a win, and they give up some garbage points at the end. Really garbage points. And we'll get to Dave Portnoy's reaction about that in a second. But this is a nice breath for the Broncos. This came at a good time because in order to win a Super Bowl, you may have to win 7 games in a row starting next week against the Packers, which means you've won, 17 games in a row? And that's maybe what it takes. The Patriots and Bills have a huge game, and we should be rooting hugely for the Bills in that particular game. The Broncos already have the tiebreaker over the Patriots in terms of common opponents because, ironically, the Raiders beat the Patriots in week 1, which is crazy. Sean knows there's better teams ahead.
Good. I thought, look, man, the number one thing is making them one-dimensional. We gave up a couple. We busted a coverage and gave up another easy touchdown pass. Those will be things we want to clean up. We're going to play a much better offense here in a week.
We're going to play a much better offense in a week. He's not even trying to be cruel to the Raiders. He's just being truthful. Meanwhile, you got contributions from Adam Prentice as a fullback while we wait for Nate Atkins to return. But Prentice with 2 carries for 22 yards, including 1 for 18, and picked up an important pass as well, 2 of them for 11 yards. And it was pretty funny when Sean was trying to stick up for Adam.
So you're not giving Adam any credit for like the 38-yard belly play. That was a big play. You getting a hot dog on during that play?
Well, Sean's having fun with the Muggles, but it was 18 yards, not 30. It doesn't matter. We get the point. What was bizarre about this game, of course, was the finish. Up 24-7, Kenny Pickett goes in, and the Broncos, and Patrick Surtain with his second defensive pass interference penalty just didn't play that tough. They were playing soft, and Kenny Pickett and any NFL quarterback against a defense that's just, not quite as aggressive as they need to be, well, might have some luck, and so they did. And then the Broncos were just basically trying to run the clock out, but they just misguided their timeouts and their play calls and ended up turning the ball over to the Raiders on downs. Okay. And the Raiders proceeded against the defense that, was doing nothing to move the ball down the field. And there was no time left on the clock when Lockett caught the ball, but Brandon Jones kind of laid on him, and then he flicked at the ball to get it out of Lockett's hands. The game was over. By the time Lockett would have handed the ball to the referee, there would have been zeros on the clock, but the over-officious refs threw a flag because, I don't know. And then they kicked a field goal instead of going for a touchdown from the 28-yard line to lose by 7 instead of 10, or perhaps 3 if they scored a touchdown. And if we're playing meaningless football just to practice playing football, which apparently that's what we were doing, then why wouldn't you go for a touchdown? Why is it more interesting to see if you can kick a field goal rather than score a touchdown? I mean, if we're just practicing, which we were at that time. From Barstool, I present Dave Portnoy on the unbelievable backdoor bad gambling beat.
Worst beat of all time. And you have to investigate the Raiders. Investigate the Raiders. What are they doing? What the fuck? That's the worst beat of all time. That is cheating. What the fuck? I gotta rewind this. That's the worst fucking beat of all time. This is the worst beat of all time. Pete Carroll should be in fucking prison.
That'd be Dave watching the game with all of his friends. How much did he have on the game? I had, a lot of coffee to Adam Schefter. It just wasn't the Broncos, though. It was the Avs and Nuggets, and we'll hear from them in a second. Plus, Kevin Stefanski is the world's stupidest man. That's on the way.
There's a world of flavor out there, and to find it, you have to take the journey. Journey Spice Company handcrafts the most premium spice and seasoning blends that have no sugar, no salt, are certified USDA organic, non-GMO, vegan-friendly, and always planet-friendly. You are going to love serving amazingly delicious creations while knowing you helped reduce single-use plastics. Make sure to search for Journey Spice Company on Amazon today.
So local company, Andon and Rosa, they are the absolute best organic, delicious flavor in plastic out. Use the code GetSpicy and save yourself 10% at Amazon.com. 115-106, the Nuggets beat the, the blah Charlotte Hornets. Nothing special about them. Joker with 28, 9 and 11, a Sombor double. Jamal with 34 points. 2 of 9 from 3, not all that great. Jokic 4 of 6 from 3, that's pretty good. Listen, the Nuggets have won a record 10 in a row on the road, and Adelman really liked this win.
The most enjoyable win in a while because it was a little bit grimy, and we've been scoring the ball so easy. We did early, and then I think, the way they played, they made some tough shots. They were playing super hard defensively. They made the game a grind. So it was good. It was good for us, to win a game like that. And the opponent doesn't matter when you're just thinking about yourselves and you're trying to get through the season. And only 115 for us is extremely low, as of late. So the 106 number, I thought the way we switched all their small stuff led to a really solid win.
Meanwhile, Peyton Watson didn't even realize that 17-6 is a club record.
Peyton, best start in franchise history. What has allowed that to take place?
This is our best start in franchise history.
Best start like what? On the road? Through 22 games.
Y'all heard that? You heard that, Yoke? Best start in franchise history. I thought we were mid, honestly. I thought there were some things we need to get better at, myself included. But, nah, it's a great group of guys. We're super serious about, our approach to the game. And I think that shows when we go out there on the court. Obviously, there's some things, like I said, we need to clean up. But this is a good start for us, and we look to get better.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? Doesn't feel like that, but when you look at the standings, the Nuggets are in second place. The first place team in the NFL is the Broncos, and the first place team in the NHL is the Avalanche. And the Nuggets are in second place in the Western Conference. I don't know how you do better than Oklahoma City. That's a pretty high bar. But it's the best start through 23 games in Nuggets history at 17-6. How about that? Pretty amazing. THJ.
Best start in franchise history for the Denver Nuggets. I know you're new to this crew, but what has made it special?
I guess the unselfishness of everyone. People knowing their role from the jump, all the way back to preseason. Camaraderie, how we interact with one another on and off the court. So I think that plays a huge role in our start.
But absolutely love it. And they got some significant time off. It's weird. They come back home and then they go on the road again for a one-off against Sacramento, who they'll play for the fourth time, but that's not till Thursday. Sacramento's not all that good. So they'll finally be done with Sacramento. And then they have more time off before they have a 4-game homestand. It's all setting up for a 7-game roadie right after Christmas through January. So it's been a weird schedule. And losing 4 games in a row at home is not ideal, but losing 4 in a row at home and you still have managed to have your best start ever? There's nothing to complain about. Meanwhile, turning to the ice, Mackenzie Blackwood, back-to-back 3-2 wins, one in overtime against the Rangers and a 3-2 W against the Flyers. Mackenzie, nice job. Yeah, it was an interesting choice to go back-to-back with Blackwood, but Wedgwood's not great. Trent Miner's actually on the trip. They play in Nashville on Tuesday, so they've got some time, and I hope they had a good time down there at Tootsie's. Tootsie's is a bar on Broadway, which is Nash Vegas, so that's the inside joke here with Josh Mann.
It seems like it's coming from all directions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Bernsey scored tonight too. It's huge, getting a little help from the D. But that's what it's going to take. I mean, you want to win games, especially when you're getting, like I just said, the 3 and 4, the back-to-back, right? Like, you're going to have to rely on depth a little bit. The big guys can carry you so far, and then you kind of got to give them a little boost and help out, and that's kind of what we've been doing. So it's been good.
You want to go to Tootsie's tonight?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be there. So maybe see you there, I guess, eh?
Thanks, Josh.
Hysterical. The Avalanche are, well, a wagon. 48 points. What's amazing is Dallas is right behind them, but nobody else is even close. Avs with 48 points, Stars with 45, and the Avs have a game in hand, so say they get the win, all right, that's 5 points ahead of the Stars, but that's close. In third place is the Wild at 35, and if you look at the Eastern Conference, the Capitals have 39 points, the Hurricanes have 38, Tampa with 34. Nobody's all that close. You got the Ducks at 37 and the Knights at 36. The only 2 teams in the 40s are the Avalanche and the Stars. And the Avs are close to having 50 points. It's amazing. 8-1-1 in their last 10. They did lose in regulation, and they played poorly for once. But other than that, very solid road trip. We hope it continues against Nashville, who you never take lightly, despite the fact they're 10-14-4. Not a great team. In fact, they're in last place in the Central. You just expect the Avs to win every single game. Pretty wild expectation. Jared Bednar on the game. Only one thing I didn't love, and that's it, because I am rooting for Shadur Sanders. And Shadur was remarkable with 346 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. I think Shadur would be doing himself a favor if he wasn't doing things like this. So, well, do this. Throw touchdowns like this is great. But when you hit the touchdown, which is amazing, just go celebrate with your teammates. But no, has to hit the Titans with the perfect timing, watch sort of thing.
Show him the fucking what time it is.
Yeah, show him what the fuck
Show
time
him
it is.
what time it is.
All right, the problem with that, and really I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but there's got to be some reasons why Shadur Sanders must rub at least Kevin Stefanski the wrong way, because on a 2-point conversion, and they did it twice. First of all, they were down by 14 to the Titans. They score, and he takes Shadur off for a Wildcat 2-point conversion, which we've seen them do at the goal line, which maybe once in a while, but they've now done it repeatedly. Like, how in the world is the team better off at the goal line without Shadur? It makes no sense. And Shadur did defend his coach's decision. But Stefanski to do it once and fail, and I sort of get that analytically. I don't agree with this one. I mean, you're down 14 to the Titans. I get it. You're going to be aggressive, but you are at home. Like, you theoretically would have more advantages going to overtime at home, but you go for 2 when you're down 14 and you score, because it would be easier to win with just an extra point, I suppose. And now you've got to go for 2 at the end, and the 2-point conversion was just absolutely abysmal. Anything that is a coaching decision seems to go horribly wrong, and it does feel like this is karma against Stefanski, who clearly doesn't like Shadur.
Yeah, he fought, throughout the game, which we knew he would. Obviously, with any young player, Mary Kay, there's going to be ups and downs, and I thought there were some really, really, really good moments. He'll keep learning from some of the plays that he wants back, but some really good moments.
What was supposed to happen on that last 2-point conversion?
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call, or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call.
Shadur had the hot hand. Why would you take him off?
Yeah, it's a 2-point play. Didn't come through on our first 2-point play. Got to the second 2-point play. We didn't come through, but that's on me.
Was that play call yours or Tommy's?
I'm responsible for all of it.
So you are the one that took Shadur off. You're the one that called some sort of crazy double reverse throw. We're trying to score the ball from the 2-yard line, and we're doing double reverse throws without Shadur. Okay, you're fired. And frankly, Shadur should just be the starter for the Cleveland Browns for at least 2 years, and we'll see. But watch, the Browns will blow this too. The quarterback to get, I guess, is Fernando Mendoza. And yeah, the college football system is screwed up. The fact that James Madison, I don't care what the logic is or the conference is, but Notre Dame is out, Miami is in, and James Madison is in. And yeah, I think it's kind of petty for Notre Dame and other schools to decline bowl games. I think you should keep practicing it if you can, and I think it should be a reward for the kids on the team. And if the kids don't feel like a bowl is a reward, what has happened? And Notre Dame, of course, would have played in a good bowl, and you would have had, you know what? I don't care. It's college football. It's as corrupt as all can get out. College football was ruined a long time ago because they weren't paying the kids. Then they changed the transfer rules. Then they paid the kids. Then the coaches are like Lane Kiffin, and it's whatever. Really, I mean, how can you even give a shit about college football? Aside from the games are really fun and the environment's great, so you kind of get sucked into it. But this tends to be the worst part of the college football season when you have to think about how it actually operates. So I'll leave it alone. And let me just tell you, I am thrilled that the Broncos, Avs, and Nuggets all won. I'm thrilled that the Broncos and Avs are tops in the NHL and the NFL, and the Nuggets are right there with their best start ever. I'm thrilled that you're watching this, and this is a day on December 8th that we truly should be celebrating, because who knows how many other moments we will have like this as Denver sports fans. Can the Broncos win 7 more games in a row to win a Super Bowl? Likely that's what they're going to have to do, unless the Buffalo Bills can beat the Patriots. If that happens, then the Broncos can actually drop a game and still have the number 1 seed, and you won't have to win 17 games in a row to win the Super Bowl. But how much fun would that be?
That's how we get it done, man. Keep going. Stack them. Big dogs, big dogs. Broncos country. We love y'all. 11-2. Let's go. Big dogs, baby. We back again. Let's do it. What's that? What's that? 11-2? Ooh, wait. It's 11, baby. Let's keep rolling.
Hey, that's 11-2. Let's go.